The trial of Ojiugo. In the bustling Igbo village of Nnobi, Ojiugo lived a quiet, modest life with her husband, Obinna, and their 2 children. Known for her kindness and humility, she was a beloved figure in the community. Her husband, Obinna, was a respected hunter and provider, but their world was shattered when Obinna suddenly fell ill and died mysteriously in the middle of the night. Rumors spread like wildfire, whispering that his death was unnatural. Days after the burial, Ojiugo's world turned darker. Her in-laws, led by Obinna's cruel brother Okeke and his spiteful wife Nneka, accused her of using witchcraft to kill her husband. They wanted his land, house, and all the properties he left behind. This woman, Okeke hissed, pointing a crude finger at Ojiugo, has brought shame and death upon our family. She has always been too quiet, too secretive. Who knows what evil she harbors? Nneka chimed in, her face twisted in a sneer. Yes, she bewitched my brother with her evil charms. We would have never allowed her into our family. Ojiugo, with her face wet with tears, fell to her knees. I did nothing. I loved my husband. How could you say such a thing? But her pleas fell on deaf ears. Elders, pressured by Okeke and Nneka's incessant cries, agreed to a public trial, believing it was the only way to uncover the truth. The trial was held in the village square, with all the villagers gathered around, whispering and gossiping among themselves. Ojiugo was dragged before the elders, her feet bare and bleeding, her face pale with fear. She was forced to undergo a series of grueling tests to prove her innocence. First, she was made to drink a concoction of bitter herbs that was said to force a confession from any guilty person. As she drank, her stomach shone, but she did not flinch. The villagers watched in tense silence, some pitying her, others believing the worst. She looks like a witch. A woman in the crowd muttered, "Look at those eyes, so cold, so calculating." A young man snarled, "She survived this. We know she's guilty. Only a witch could withstand such a portion." But Ojiugo remained silent, tears streaming down her face. Her heart pounded with fear, not of the test, but of the injustice that was unfolding before her eyes. As the elders watched, unsatisfied, they demanded more. Next, they forced her to walk barefoot over hot coal. She is truly innocent, Keke declared with a smug grin. The gods will protect her feet from burning. The coals hissed and popped under the midday sun, the heat radiating into the air. Ojiugo, trembling but determined, took a deep breath and stepped into the coals. Her feet seized with each step, pain shooting up her legs. She bit her lips, refusing to scream, refusing to give Okeke and Nneka the satisfaction of seeing her break. Nneka laughed mockingly. See how she steps carefully. A real woman would run across if she was innocent. Ojiugo continued, her eyes fixed on the other side, praying silently for strength. Despite her endurance, the elders were still unconvinced. Okeke, growing more desperate to seize Obinna's property, demanded a final trial. A night spent alone in the dark forest, where evil spirits were believed to dwell. If she survived till dawn, she would be declared innocent. The villagers gasped. The dark forest was feared by all. It was said that no one who entered came back the same. If Ojiugo's children clucked to her, crying, but she hugged them tightly, whispering, "I will return, I promise." That night, Ojiugo was led into the forest, her hands bound, as the darkness closed around her. She heard the whispers of the spirits, the rustling of leaves, and the hearts of the owl. She prayed, her heart heavy with fear, but her spirit unbroken. Back in the village, Okeke and Nneka laughed, confident that they will never see her again. When she doesn't return, all this will be ours, Okeke said, with a greedy grin. But unknown to them, a young orphan boy, Chima, who had been living with Ojiugo since his parents died, overheard their plotting. He was small, but he was clever. He turned to the elders, telling them what he had heard. They dismissed him. "Go home, boy," they said, waving him away. "This is no place for children." Undeterred, Chima sneaked into the forest that night, determined to help Ojiugo. He found her by a small clearing, surrounded by shadows. "Mama Ojiugo," he whispered, "I have a plan." At dawn, the villagers gathered at the edge of the forest, expecting to find Ojiugo dead or missing. To their surprise, she emerged from the shadow unharmed, with Chima at her side. The elders gasped, and Okeke and Nneka's face sparred. "How is this possible?" Nneka screeched, her voice filled with panic. Ojiugo, her face calm but stern, spoke to the gathered crowd. "The gods have protected me, for I am innocent, but there is more. Chima, tell them what you heard." Chima stepped forward, his hand framed, trembling but his voice steady. "I heard Uncle Okeke and Auntie Nneka plotting to take Mama Ojiugo's land. They wanted her gone so they could be rich." Crowd gasped. Murmurs of shock and anger spread through the villagers. Eze Onyekwere, the oldest and wisest of the elders, stepped forward, his voice booming. "Is this true, Okeke? Did you lie to us all to take your brother's wealth?" Okeke, now sweating and stuttering, tried to deny it. "No, this is a lie. The boy is lying." But Nneka, overcome with fear and seeing their scheme unraveling, broke down. Yes, it's true. We lied. We wanted the land, the house, and everything." The crowd erupted in anger. "How dare you? You betrayed your own blood." The elders, now furious at having been deceived, demanded justice. "For your greed and treachery," Eze Onyekwere declared, "you will work Ojiugo's field for the next 7 years, and all that you hoped to gain will be hers." The village celebrated Ojiugo's vindication with songs and dances. The mood shifted from tension to joy. Women ululated in celebration and men beat their drums. The children, including Chima, danced around Ojiugo, who was finally smiling. "Mama Ojiugo is a strong woman," they chanted. "She survived the trial and the truth has set her free." Ojiugo, now surrounded by her friends and allies, stood tall. She had gotten herself vindicated and victory is now hers.